Hey, Internets. It's Paul. It's Matt. Checking my mic. Good. Awesome. We are the Dork Lords, and we're here talking about Westworld, Season 2, Episode 5, Akane no Mai. Which, that Japanese I took.
Yeah.
I was familiar that it means red dance. Yeah, no, I didn't. No. But it does mean red dance, apparently, which obviously is impactful,
Yes.
meaningful to this particular episode, and also perhaps generally speaking, a way you could describe Westworld. People moving around, choreographed motion, and lots of blood being spilt. It's their red wedding. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, boy, kind of a departure episode in some ways. I mean, the fact that we spend so much time in Shogun World for a show called Westworld is a departure.
Sure.
It's a good one. I liked this episode. Now, if it suddenly was like if there was season 3 was all about Shogun World, to be like, oh, okay, well, you kind of lost the flavor of Westworld. But in this moment, I appreciated the world building.
Sure.
What about yourself?
Yeah.
You're
I was pretty happy. I didn't need to,
You're okay if a show called Westworld spends all its time like in Roman world or something?
Well, you have to make it work. I mean, like, one thing they did was show the ways in which Shogun World was like Westworld. I actually had, the guy walking through saying, "Oh, I, use some of the same storylines and stuff like that."
Sizemore there to reveal the fact that while it's a different cultural setting, the storylines, he's like, hey, you try writing 300 stories in 3 weeks.
And he's always there to, what? That's not what I wrote. It's like, when are you going to learn that it's not going to be like you wrote?
He's funny, and he is there to tell the audience when things are going off script. Yes. But it's a little too much to me. I don't mind him once or twice going, well, I didn't write that. But, he does it a lot.
Yeah, he does it a lot.
I'm like okay, you don't have to tell me every time.
It's like what you need to be like, so this is the way that it's different. Without having to be like, wait a minute, what?
Let me tell you.
Each time, I'm shocked still.
I did enjoy his line. What was it like? Shit, ninjas!
Yeah.
That made me laugh. I was like, that's funny. Just to take this back. So there are basically, we see 3 points of view in this episode.
Yes.
One of them is pretty quick, and it's just off at the top, so we'll just talk about it first.
Sure.
And that's Bernard.
Bernard's view.
So it's Bernard, it opens the episode, and it's in what would be 2 weeks after the retirement party for Ford. So what we think is the most recent possible time frame we've got.
We think that.
We think that. And what that means is the flood has happened, and there's the bodies, and I think it was 2 weeks ago or something, we saw Bernard meet up with Bernard and Strand, the new big boss guy, meet up with Charlotte,
right?
Who is alive in that 2 weeks later time frame.
Sure.
And they're in the base, and they're packing the bodies like cordwood. They've dredged the lake. They're draining the lake.
They shot that guy.
They shot that guy.
That guy who's like, I will save you.
Oh, the save you guy. Yes.
I will. How dare you touch that woman?
Yeah. We do see on the pile of bodies again, just in case we weren't clear. Teddy's one of the bodies.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And we haven't seen some people.
We have not seen people in the modern timeline. One of them
is Elsie.
Elsie, who I predicted might be bumped off by Bernard because of last one. She's hey, one thing I want you to promise me. Don't hurt me. Gotcha.
No, there was another thing.
And
don't
lie, which he did immediately.
And don't lie to me about hurting me.
And right.
So it's implicit.
So yeah, that's interesting. Well, we also haven't seen Dolores in the modern timeline. The 2 week later time.
Right. You haven't seen or
time
Maeve,
frame. Damn it.
Maeve.
We've not seen Maeve either.
And all her little buddies.
Yes, all the buddies.
Snake woman.
So yeah, they're taking inventory. They've drained the lake. They got the bodies. They're like, hey, do you want us to get everything out of the lake? You want us to, or just the bodies? And he's like, get down to the last Stetson.
Yes.
So they're taking all the inventory. He's taking a look. He's got a tech who makes a very interesting statement, which is, hey, not for nothing, but a third of the bodies do not have virgin code. Like, in other words, there's no fingerprint, there's no digital fingerprint, there's no storyline embedded. They're completely wiped. Not even said wiped. They're not wiped. They're new brains.
Wow.
That's what he said. He doesn't know how to explain it. And Strand's like, wait, you just saying we just lost a third of our IP? And like, yep. That's what I'm saying. Also, the cradle, which is the control center where they had all this stuff backed up, is destroyed. Which means they ain't bringing that stuff back. Like, that stuff is gone. And I don't think we've seen yet how that gets destroyed. I think we might be seeing that in the next week. The trailers, I think, show Bernard in the cradle, maybe, and
with the silver spoon.
With the silver spoon, with the cat and the cradle. So that's some revelatory stuff about that 2 week later period. People are dead. A third of them have apparently new minds, and they've lost all the data because there's no backups. And then there's like basically
no offsite backup.
No offsite.
Can you believe that?
No satellite that's got the thing like
no
the alternate carbon
area outside there. Just keep it all in Westworld. That's fine.
Strand basically talks to the audience.
Yes.
I mean, he doesn't, but he does, right? He's actually looking over at Bernard, and he's talking to Bernard and Ford. But he's basically talking to the audience where he's like, well, it's some story you created. One hell of an ending. I guess once we put all the threads together, we'll figure out how this story turns. Yeah. So it was like, okay, yes, we will. Thank you, sir. Yes, we don't know what's happening. Good point.
Well, I think part of the reason why he's looking at, while it's looking like they're like, oh, and what happens to Bernard when that happens?
Yeah. So that was that point of view bit. The other 2 points of view are Maeve and Dolores Teddy. Which one would you like to talk about first, sir?
Dolores Teddy.
Let's talk about Dolores Teddy. It's a little shorter.
Yeah.
Basically, Dolores is deciding whether or not to destroy Teddy. I mean, when I say destroy, because she doesn't like physically take him out, but wipe him.
Yep.
And so it seemed like the whole time she's just debating whether or not her love for him is real, or if it was just a storyline that Ford gave her to love.
Yeah.
And so
they had sex, and that decided it for her.
That decided it. That was it. Nope. No, she said yes, actually. But there's the kind of creepy scene where first of all, what I think set her on the road to I need to do something about Teddy is when she saw Teddy let the guy go.
Right.
Craddock.
Yep.
She let the Confederados go instead of shooting him. She's like, oh boy, he's not on board. So she goes, hey, let's go take a walk. Just you and me out in the middle of nowhere. Now, as soon as she did that, I was like, is she about to shoot this guy out in the field? And she didn't.
You don't think that Teddy should have known that, though?
No, although when she gives her little descriptor about her dad, talking about her little parable, I would have been like,
you would have been?
Yeah, because the way she puts it, she goes, "Hey,
would have been.
My dad, we had a real problem out here with the herd. Remember the herd? Yeah, we had blue tongue, an illness that's spread by flies, and there were some cattle were in danger." Cattle being
I feel like
us.
Yeah, but
that's the metaphor here.
But I feel like Teddy's been late to everything.
Oh, I agree that Teddy is slow.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying. Teddy, you're Teddy. Should Teddy have known?
Teddy, I can understand why Teddy didn't know.
Teddy has been programmed to really trust her.
Yeah. I get
and he actually trusts her without factoring in that she's also Wyatt.
It's not uncalled for that he wouldn't get it. I agree. I'm just thinking, come on, guy. Come on, guy. But yeah, so she's like...
I mean, really, because it requires a level of abstraction that he's never been capable of.
Right.
Most of them haven't been, actually.
And he says to her in this long conversation they have in the field where he's like, why don't we just go away? Again, he brings it up again.
Right.
And you can see her like... There's a struggle there, and I don't know what the struggle is. If it's actually thinking about going away with him, I don't think it is.
And she asks him, if I were to lie to you, is that what you want, or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
we've known each other too long for me to just take your lies. Yeah. He sounds genuine, and I think she's wondering, are you on script, or is this your genuine feeling? I think is one of she's wondering about that. Like, are you conscious, or are you just, you think you have to love me because your story says so, and that's why you want to go away with me, and you'll always want to go away with me, even if I hack off your legs, you'll still be like, let's go away together. So she's like, yeah, so anyway, my dad had this problem with the herd. How would you deal with a problem where you've got half the cows are sick and they're infecting the others? And he's like, you know what I'd do is I would segregate the weak ones, put them in a barn away from the flies, and nurse them back to health. That'd be good. That'd be a good way. She's like, yeah, well, no. We didn't do it that way. My dad burned all the weak cows, and then the smoke scared away the flies, and the other ones lived. But I'll take, you know what? I'm gonna think about that, Teddy. That was where it was creepy to me, where I'm like, oh my God. Like, she's basically like, I want to think about whether or not to kill you. Okay, let's go back. Like, oh God, Teddy, run! So he doesn't run.
No.
He's like, great, let's go back and do whatever.
Like,
I'm good with it. I don't know what that cow story was, but
never experiences any the way that both Maeve and who else? Maeve's. Akane too.
So there's that. So that's the preface and something, like the warning, which we also brought up. We brought up in previous episodes. Like, Teddy's time seems to be numbered, not just because we find him dead.
No, not just because of that,
but because there are multiple times where they're like, like the point when Maeve sees him when she confronts Dork. She's like, do you feel free?
Yeah.
Are you like what? I'm just with her. Yes, they have their night together, and Dolores says, I was wondering. I've been questioning my relationship with you.
Yep.
Is it just written into code, or is it real? And you know what? I've determined it's real.
Yep.
And that makes no difference. I think she wanted it to be. I think she wanted to come to the conclusion that her love for him was just a story, so that it would just be easier to turn him off. But in the case, she's like, "Damn it! I guess actually I do have actual feelings for this guy, but I still have to like. He's not ready to commit to my cause, and so I've got to make this tough choice, which wouldn't have been as tough if I just thought, oh, he's a robot that's doing Ford's bidding.
Yeah, now she knows he loves him, but still, it was done has to be done.
Got to make the hard choice. So she gets him into the barn, where I thought she was going to light the barn on fire, kind of like they did with the cows. Like, we burn the cows, I'll burn you. She doesn't go that far, apparently.
Nope.
But she's got her techie. The techie's like, you sure you want to do this? Because if we don't do this with a hard reset, he may not take it. She's like, do it. Suffering, that's what we need. So they get rid of Teddy in some way. Teddy's personality is either going to have another personality with it, or they're going to wipe it entirely, or they're going to up his aggressive stats, or he won't be Teddy.
No.
But he'll probably be Teddy inside somewhere. We may see like the real Teddy emerge at some point.
Sure, maybe
the suffering will push him to some kind of consciousness before he dies on a pile.
Yes.
Damn it. That was sad. The other thing we do see in the Dolores story is the reason. So, two episodes before, whatever, when they take her dad, Abernathy, taken away. And she says, oh, they took my father. We're
Yes.
gonna get him.
Yes.
I need to go to Sweetwater. Okay, the reason she wanted to go to Sweetwater was to get to the train. And so that's the thing that she's going to use to try to get her dad back. Now, I'm a little confused. They're going to take the train. They actually captured one of the
Right.
Q&A guys or whatever,
Sure.
the quality control soldier guys, special ops guys. And he's like, they're taking him to the Mesa. Kick. And so they're going to I think they're taking the train to the Mesa. She's having it stripped for parts to like get for speed.
Makes sense.
Which is that maybe it's speed to get there, maybe it's speed to have ramming speed. Maybe she's going to run into something, use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
But one way or another, she's using a train, which considering Abernathy's like, I got to get to the train. So I don't think he's trying to get to that train.
I don't think so.
I think he's trying to get to the train that leaves the park, which I don't think is this train.
I don't think so.
So I don't know how that works. Does it run on the same tracks as the train that the
Or maybe people get off one train and then get on the other train.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Heading for Sweetwater. Get on the local 7. Doors open on the left at Washington and Wells. So yeah. Anyway, the train is part of her larger attempt to get Abernathy back.
Yes.
Also, I should point out, in the Bernard point of view bit, they do mention we've sent out 2 teams to get Abernathy. So Abernathy did not stay with Charlotte.
No.
So my guess is Dolores gets him back at some point.
Yeah.
I take a train to get Abernathy works.
Yeah, apparently.
So there's that. All right, so that's more or less the Dolores part, yeah?
That's pretty much.
Okay. All right, so now the bulk of the episode spent Shogun World with Maeve.
Yep.
So, yeah, the interesting part on this is showing, these similarities, these mirroring, especially the relationship between Akane and Maeve. Akane is the Shogun World version of Maeve.
Yeah.
There is, what's his name, Musashi? I think it's his name. Musashi, the Ronin, is basically the Shogun World version of Hector.
Yeah.
And Hector's always jealous of him. Like, that guy, I'll kill him. Let me at him. It's you.
Yeah, what do they call them?
Doppelbots?
Doppelbots. Yeah,
Doppelbots.
I love that.
That was Sizemore, I think, calling them Doppelbots.
See, that's potential marketing thing they could do. So the Doppelbots.
The Doppelbots. Obviously, doppelgangers. So, yes.
That's obvious.
Me likey. Then there is Armistice has her Doppelbot, which is a woman. I don't know that they name her, but she's got a dragon tattoo instead of a snake tattoo.
Yeah.
And she even says, like, in another world, the snake can become the dragon, or something like that. You're like, all right, yep.
Interesting.
It's probably a metaphor as well, but yes. And they do a mirroring exercise at one point where Sizemore's like, I don't think it's a good idea for you guys to hang out with your Doppelbots. I think bad things could happen. So there's that, and then so that does mean that there are these counterparts, and it makes you wonder, for instance, who is the counterpart for the Shogun?
Right.
Is that Wyatt / Dolores?
Oh.
I don't know who the Shogun is in that world, but
I think it does seem to be, maybe it breaks down, but
yeah, perhaps maybe it's just in the town, because the town is basically like this
especially
Edo
since
period.
Now he's dead.
Feudal Japan version. Good point of Sweetwater. So they basically have the same robbery sequence that Hector and them did in Sweetwater, and so there's all the comic beats are right there. Like, move to the left. Safe falls down.
Shoot the people, and then he used the text as human shields.
Yeah. Well, they did the little bit too where so it's Sylvester and Felix.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting which one is which, but
anyway. Felix is the one that is the one she likes.
Is one she likes. Okay. So Sylvester does this whole thing about, hey, why don't you talk to him? And he's like, I'm from Hong Kong, asshole. It's like, that was a nice beat. I'm like, okay, yeah. We all look alike. Got it. So yeah, the texture there. Here's an interesting point too. I just noticed that at the time. I was thinking, oh, if you think about, I think there's basically, I'm generalizing here, but there are more or less 4 major points of view in this season. There's Maeve, there's Dolores, there's Bernard,
Yes.
and there's Man in Black.
Oh, yeah.
And each one of them has a human paired with a robot. Assuming that William is a human, which we're going to go with. William and Lawrence. Then you've got Bernard and Elsie.
Okay.
Then you've got Dolores has her human tech. And then in this one, you've got Sizemore and the techies with Maeve. So they've done a version where there's always a human robot pairing in each of these groups.
Oh.
Anyway, just for what that's worth.
Okay.
Everybody's got that. I don't know if they all have a clipboard, but they have access to the stuff. So Sweetwater, we've got the mirroring. So then the story progresses to this one where, so the Shogun is sent an emissary to basically take Akane's adopted daughter for his own. It's like, it's time. She's coming with you. This is Sakura. And rather than let Sakura go, Akane kills the emissary.
Yes.
Violently through the eye.
Yes, very violently.
Schlunk-dink. Oh, also, that is, Sizemore says, Shogun World was made for people that found Westworld too tame.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, okay. Now, my theory on that,
Theory.
well, it's not, whatever. It's not necessarily a theory, it's just like an observation.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the fact that you've got, we already talked about the bullets that somehow can tell if you're a human or not. Okay, that technology. But it's a little different when you've got a sword or an arrow. Like, how does it hit you and not kill you necessarily? I would think it's just the danger level of the weaponry. Of, oh yeah, this samurai is going to come up and at the last minute he's going to be like, oh, you're a human, and he's still going to cut me, but he'll cut me through the 3rd rib and it won't stab me in the heart. I don't know. Anyway, so maybe it's just the fact that there's such melee combat.
Some mylar underneath, that helps them with that.
Yeah. You have to wear extra equipment if you go to Shogun World.
Maybe.
But it also made me think, why didn't Man in Black just go to Shogun World? If he's like, Westworld, there's no stakes. Well, sure, we've got another part of the park. Blah, blah, blah. I started in Westworld. I'm staying there. But, okay, so.
Well, I mean, come on.
No, I hear you. He wanted actual stakes and not just
Adjusted
more
stakes.
dangerous,
Right.
More dangerous would not have worked for him eventually. Maybe if temporarily, like, oh, this is cool. Oh, no, it's still, you guys still can't kill me.
I mean, yeah, you would. I mean, assuming we don't know that, from what we know, that's where Ford spent most of his time. So presumably that got the most attention.
Right, and that's where William was introduced to the park.
Right.
Originally was Westworld.
Right,
so.
but I mean, yes.
But anyway, I'm just saying there are parks with different danger levels.
Yeah.
And this one is maybe the most dangerous. We don't know. It's okay. Anyway, so so they apparently this is off script. She's not supposed to stab this guy.
Oh. Well, the guy also too is malfunctioning.
Well, you're talking about the Shogun.
Yeah.
But this is before we meet the Shogun. This is the emissary that gets stabbed in the eye.
Oh, I thought you meant when he chopped his head.
Oh, yeah, no, that's later.
That guy.
So now there's like, oh my God, the Shogun's going to send a bunch of people because when he realizes that the emissary's dead.
Yes.
And so they prepare a defense, and that night, Maeve is having dreams. Oh, it's weird because she's dreaming through the eyes of Akane, which is interesting. I think it's showing her duality with Akane, but it's just, I didn't know if she was seeing that in real time or if she was having reveries that were Akane's reveries. Anyway, it was a little, I couldn't quite tell. And then in between, she was seeing, it's almost like she foreshadowed the ninjas were coming. Like she could see, oh my God, ninjas are coming.
Right, well, she,
because she dodges.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think that's right.
Ninjas attack, we get the ninjas.
Ninjas attack.
And he's like, ninjas aren't supposed to be in this storyline. Damn it. and fight ensues, and Maeve directs two of the ninjas to kill each other, and then before she can talk again, she's getting strangled out, so she can't talk. But we learn new power. She's Neo from the Matrix. She can now command other robots without speaking. So she can boop, 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 boop. She's got Jedi mind trick powers. I'm going to say that it's probably through this mesh network.
Yeah.
Which sounds redundant. Mesh net. Maybe the mesh work. Would it be the mesh net? Anyway, whatever. They just didn't want to say network. But the mesh thing. Mesh
network is different than other kinds of networks.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a token, which is basically like a circle, basically. So it's like, okay, this one bit of information goes to this computer, and if there's more information that needs to go to it, it'll contribute or not. And so it just goes all the way around. Or there's like a star point, so it's like information in the center, and it goes out. But a mesh is sort of like a web in a way. So
it'd be like the Borg.
I think.
Would the Borg be a mesh network?
Perhaps.
Okay.
If anybody knows even more than me and corrects me, that's fine.
I like that. That was good.
I
just thought they were throwing out a buzzword to be like, oh, it's not a network, it's a mesh network.
No, it's one of the things that Wi-Fi networks, they're in vogue now is mesh networks, and that sometimes in a house people will be like, oh, I can't get the Wi-Fi so good. So they get these little minor routers that can boost it, and it's like, oh, okay, now I get much better signal. So mesh network.
Well, I think she's tapping into that.
Yes.
And is able to now control. It seems like at the moment she's still testing her powers.
Yes.
So she can only use it under duress.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, at the end, we'll jump to the end when she's about to get her head chopped off. She's like, and then and all the samurai start killing each other.
Well, I feel like the first time she used it was, when she couldn't speak, and then she seemed to,
right,
and then it's like, oh, go put your head through that thing over there, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so that's when she
and
first
they called her a
started to get
witch.
it. They called her a witch, right? And then when they were about to do it, I feel like, while she may have been under duress, I'm gonna get my head cut off. She did so much killing.
Well, there also is the fact that she did use the power on Akane without being under duress, and Akane found a way to refuse it. Her love for her, because remember, there's a bit where it seems like she's trying to force freedom on Akane. She's talking about it. She's like, "You can be free," and she kind of starts doing the little mumble, and then Akane's like, "Nope, I'm going after my daughter." Like, in other words, she was trying to say, we'll just go away together. We'll go. She's kind of doing the Teddy. Like, we'll just go. You can come with me to Westworld and we can escape. She's like, nope, going after my daughter.
Interesting.
And so I feel like maybe Akane is awake in the way that Maeve is awake.
Maybe.
But doesn't have her stats boosted, probably.
Right.
But so yeah, this mesh network hacking allows Maeve to kill off at least one group of samurai, but one of the samurai hits a gong, which signals another army, which is now approaching at the end of the episode. And she's like, I found my voice. Now let's use it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the dance. So there was, the Akane very gruesomely cuts more or less the face off horizontally. I don't know, like off of the Shogun. Which, by the way, good guards. Those guys were great. Yeah. It's like, what? Like, it took time. I mean, it wasn't just like a stab. She's like, and the whole time it cut to very shots of like guards like grabbing their swords but not doing anything. Right. They're like, huh, wow, that's bad.
He was already dead though by that point.
True, but I'm like, then they're like, all right, now we'll execute you, but after the fact.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the Shogun would have really appreciated it. But that was also so the Shogun.
Only half my brain.
Oh,
thanks,
good.
Guys.
Kill her after I'm dead. Thanks. He's kind of a Heart of Darkness kind of guy.
Sure.
And they see that he's leaking cortical fluid.
Yep, cortical fluid.
But he's still keeping it together fairly well by the time we see the leaking cortical fluid with Bernard, it seems like he's like on, like, you've got a few hours left, as opposed to this guy, I was like, maybe just wait him out. Like, yeah, we'll dance for you tomorrow. Is that good? And
Well, except no.
I know, I'm just saying.
And two, I mean, like, we know. Was it earlier in the evening in the first season, where he got shot in the head?
Yes, you're talking Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we see him put the gun up to his head.
Yeah. So it was hours later when Ford does his thing.
Right. No, I'm just saying there's a bit where he's leaking fluid, and it's like you have so and so hours left, and then he had to like inject himself with the stuff. It felt like the time frame. Once you're leaking out of the ear, it seems like you're on borrowed time, but maybe not. All right. Anyway.
Maybe not.
So they don't wait.
No, they don't wait.
Just kill him off.
Nope.
But he, sensing that Maeve is a witch, has all of his guys cut off their ears. Like,
yeah,
that wouldn't
or burn their
do
ears.
enough. They must burn, somehow make themselves deaf.
Yeah.
Cutting off your earlobes wouldn't do it.
Nope.
So they must like puncture their eardrums or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some horrible, gruesome thing.
Yep.
And so hence to make them invulnerable to Maeve, but not because she doesn't have to talk to him.
Nope.
Joke's on him. Oh, by the way, a thing we brought up a few episodes ago about the Lakota Indians and the fact that maybe Maeve couldn't control them because she didn't speak Lakota.
Right.
Kind of comes to fruition in this episode where it's informed Sizemore's like, oh yeah, you need to speak Japanese. You shouldn't have to. They should automatically understand English and like flip a switch and understand you, but for some reason, based on the haywire chaos of the park, they're not doing that. So you got to speak their native tongue.
And all that information should be in each of them, but some of them have access to it. Like, well, obviously Maeve would have access since she's...
Yeah.
But Hector does not.
He's kind of like, wait, I know Japanese?
Yeah, he's always like, I don't know what that guy said, but...
Yeah. So, that obviously, it sounds like that will come into play later, too, or maybe it's like, wait, I know how to do this, just give me the... Bump my stats! Everybody, I don't know why everybody doesn't bump their stats at this point. They've got a techie, just bump your stats! Hey, can I get like an 1800 strength?
Smoking like a dungeon master.
Can I get a +2 on my revolver shooting, please? Thanks. I need better decks to get over this wall. So anyway, I would have bumped my stats.
I'm
just saying.
Only Maeve has the abstraction idea that works at all. None of them have any understanding of technology.
Stat boost.
None.
Now I know Kung Fu. See, just to bring it back into Matrix. So there was the fight. So now she knows this. She has her new voice. All right, now here's my theory. This is my...
Oh.
I just came up with this theory literally like an hour ago.
Oh, I wasn't there.
You were not here for this theory. So you
no,
can say,
I get to hear
this
it with
theory
you.
is stupid.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, well, I'm wrong.
That's a great preface.
Ready for it.
Okay, here we go. In the 2 weeks ahead, after this flood happens.
Yes.
Okay. The comment, a third of these seem to have no history in their brain.
Yes.
I think what's going to happen is this samurai army's coming. She's not just going to have them kill themselves like she just did with this other group.
Right.
She's going to be like, you're working for me now. Shrimp! Okay. She's going to take her army back to Westworld. And for whatever reason, it's going to come in conflict with Dolores.
Okay.
And I think you're going to have two leaders, Maeve and Dolores, squaring off with their followers in a battle. And I think the mind-wiped people are the people that Maeve has mesh networked. Because they're no longer, she's wiped their history. It's gone. And there wouldn't be a fingerprint of it because she's not a tech. She's a robot who's controlling them. So I think that third, she's got maybe a smaller army, but they're samurais, so they're probably maybe a little more adept.
Why is she going to fight?
I'm not sure that she's going to fight Dolores in particular, but she's going to find her daughter, and I feel like she's getting followers to go back and do this. And I just feel like that what we're going to see is a conflict between Dolores's way and Maeve's way. Maeve is trying to convert folks, to the cause. Dolores is kind of just like,
Is she?
well, I don't know, maybe, Jedis. They're nice. All right, good
Doesn't
point.
seem like conversion to me.
Good
It's
point.
like
So
I don't
they're both mind controlling
I don't
people,
think she's
just different ways.
All right. Yeah, I don't think she's expressed any philosophy other than I want my daughter.
But I think this episode in particular, she saw how Akane. She saw her own reflection in this. Like, wow, this love does transcend what we are. Like, she saw that Akane went off script for the love for her daughter, and the fact that I am. Otherwise, I'm on this storyline, but this love is what's transcendent. Maybe she's going to attempt to use that as a way of liberating the park. I don't know. I'm not saying I understand everything. I'm just saying eventually I think there's going to be a conflict between. And that's where the deaths come in.
I mean, presumably there will be a possibly. Now
that said, we didn't see a lot of wounds on those bodies. It seemed like they just drowned.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, and you got your head chopped off.
I mean, because the thing that was occurring to me is Maeve has a tech with her. Getting stabbed shouldn't be that big of a deal. They just need to find a place where they can, and that's what Sizemore is trying to, get Maeve to a place where, here's an access point so we can get out of here. So
maybe the mind wipe is Maeve's weapon. Maybe it's when Dolores is like, you're a threat. We're gonna take you out, and she's like, all right, fine. Whoop, and then all those they just drop because they have no minds anymore. I don't know. Perhaps Maeve.
She would have to be,
I mean, I know Bernard says I killed them all, but maybe there's a way that maybe Bernard is. We do see Bernard with Dolores in the next episode, the trailer, which, by the way, could make me look like a genius.
Yes.
Because it does seem like that conversation was not in the past. It was in...
It does seem like that.
So let's assume that Bernard meets up with Dolores. He's with her. He realizes she's kind of a psychopath. And he requests Maeve's assistance to take out Dolores. Like, Dolores is going to destroy not just Westworld, but maybe humanity itself.
Oh.
She needs to get taken down. Oh. And so he thinks, I killed everybody because what I did is I betrayed Dolores by invoking Maeve's assistance. Maybe he's the Judas that kind of goes against Dolores, invokes Maeve. Maeve's like, you're right, she is crazy. Let me take her out.
Very elaborate theory.
Yeah? All right, well, just hang on.
So
buckle up.
I would need to see more information before I would be convinced that was happening.
So there you go. That's a theory. Bernard feels like Dolores is a threat to humanity itself.
I'm willing to be as wrong by saying you're wrong.
All right. Now, the odds of success limit.
It might go up even higher. As a theory, is better than it's all in his mind.
Got you. Okay. Good. Good. Because I don't know how it all works out. I'm just saying. I feel like Dolores. Bernard senses Dolores is on a horrible track, which, let's face it, she's a villain and a half this season. I keep wanting her to be like, but she's really got the best. Oof. She's pretty brutally.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that they've decided to make her very selective about who she brings forward. So that's, that doesn't fit with our current, the audience's current morality, I would guess. I don't think so. So, making her a villain is an interesting choice. And I don't see evidence yet that what Bernard is up to would be opposing her. It seems like he's more activated by some nascent thing of Ford's, which caused me to bring up my previous theory of somehow Ford is going to come back. Which, in a way, if I were to say, the possibility of mine and yours, I would say yours is probably greater.
I will say that my theory does not take into account Man in Black at all. So I don't know how he fits into that story. I mean, he obviously, is it just a personal quest of his, or I assume it has something to do with the larger picture. But in mine, it's basically a Dolores, Bernard, Maeve struggle, probably, so it's a robot internal struggle.
Right.
But, I feel like Man in Black probably has some part to play in there. But I don't know what that is.
We'll see.
So anyway, there you go. Some theories to chew on.
Chew
crafting,
on those theories.
Crafting
Yum,
of
yum,
theories.
yum.
So yes, we will be back to talk about Legion.
Yes.
It's getting near the end of the season.
It's true.
We're episode 8, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll be back, obviously, talking about Westworld and maybe some other nerdly things along the way as well. So feel free to subscribe. You want some notifications? Make some comments. Go for it. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm an idiot too.
Yep.
Well, go ahead, call us both idiots.
We can't both be idiots, right? I mean,
one of course we
right.
could.
Okay.
No, we could both be idiots.
We're both idiots. All right. With that in mind, bye, everybody.
Bye.